Yeah.
Automatically jumping in. If you guys are wondering, I work at Fox Studios now, so they made me switch my background for the podcast. So
Fox
if you're
Studios, please
wondering,
sponsor us.
Fox Studios, please sponsor us. We're big Family Guy fans, and I know you are already sending me a paycheck, but I would like more pay on top of that for what
That
I'm
makes
doing
sense.
for you guys. I'm constantly dropping Family Guy references, clips, everything. Like I'm holding down the fort, you know. So,
Does Family Guy shit on Fox as much as The Simpsons has
oh
always?
yeah,
Okay,
100%.
Just making sure they're in the family too.
You know, I did a brief rundown with somebody, Anthony, recently about all the banned South Park episodes because there's like 6 of them now.
Yeah,
that they've just
they keep
completely
adding-
removed from
well,
streaming.
Paramount
Yeah,
Plus is like taking a bunch out. It's kind
Yeah.
of ridiculous. But
it's fucking crazy.
Why do they remove episodes?
There's a bunch of reasons.
hate speech.
Yeah.
What's the other one? Anything
Muhammad.
related.
Yeah.
for sure. Genocide related. They took out the Ginger episode. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
But
Bunch of
in my
stuff.
opinion, they're all necessary. So it only
there-
makes people want to seek them out more. So
Yeah,
if
If
anyone
there
ever
was
needs
a
copies of these
genocide of
episodes,
ginger
holler.
people, would it be called a ginger side?
a ginger side. Yeah, be careful. We're gonna get this episode taken down now.
Yeah. Tom
Sorry,
Cruise is
Ireland.
listening.
Y'all been through enough.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's Totally Biased Music. It's Blake, Trey, and Anthony, and today we are reviewing Electric Tears by Buckethead. And what was the name of the movie? Friendship, which was a Trey movie pick, which I just got out of the theater from seeing, so it's fresh on my mind. You guys saw it together, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
I'm jealous of you.
It was very
coming
sweet.
That fresh.
That's-
It was lovely.
That's
Really
very
nice.
cute.
It was
Yeah,
like a little goodbye because I left town and it was our little goodbye. Moment.
nice. Where are you
When we
recording
got
from
friendship.
right now, Trey?
I'm recording from my new place of kind of residence in Carson City, Nevada. But I'm telling people that I live in Lake Tahoe because it's like 20 minutes from Lake Tahoe, and that sounds way cooler.
Nice.
It'd be like living in Pelham, but being like I live in Birmingham. Same concept.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
So what time zone are you in?
I'm in Pacific. time.
Pacific. Yeah, Pacific time.
Oh,
It's
shit.
been
We're-
interesting, like, because I've never been behind people before. I've always only been like ahead of them, like in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
right.
Thinking,
And,
all that stuff.
and music taste. Yeah. So
Yeah.
First time I'm ever behind, but no, for real. Like, I called my dad. My dad goes to bed at like 8, like an old man does, and I called him like 40 minutes ago, and he like answered. He's like, "What do you want? What's going on?" And I was like, "What do you mean? It's 6:30." He's like, "No, it's not." And I was like, "Shit, my bad."
Get with it.
That's funny.
So, anyway.
All right. Well, Anthony, I picked actually Electric
Yeah, you
Tears by
picked this.
Buckethead. I forgot. I picked this to throw Anthony a bone. Oh my God, am I gonna glitch out like this the whole episode? It's
That's
gonna
what I
fucking.
mean. You're in the Family Guy matrix.
That's gonna disorient me. Maybe
Yeah,
I
you
need to
might
stay.
have to
Maybe I need to
pop
stay
that out.
closer. I can't turn it off now because the episode has already started. So I
Posture
think I
is
just have.
important.
I think I just have to be very, very close to the camera. Anyway, I picked Electric Tears because I thought, Anthony picked Wheel of Fate and Time categories, and I had some bangers in there that I'm going to save in the back pocket. But for instrumental albums, I thought let's throw Anthony a bone. He's done the same for me every once in a while. He's picked hip hop albums, and thought we'd go kind of down Anthony lane and do Buckethead Electric Tears. So. I'm not an avid Buckethead listener like Anthony. It's a relatively, it was a relatively new experience, not completely new, but relatively new to sit down and work through, a Buckethead album start to finish. I didn't know what to expect. It was not what I expected. And we'll talk about whether that is good or bad here shortly. But yeah, very, very interesting listen to say the least. I'll get more into that in a little bit. But Anthony, where does this rank on your Buckethead list? How do you feel about this album? Was it a good pick by me?
I think it's an excellent pick, but in the
Nice.
grand scheme of picks, it's going to be interesting to hear y'all's reaction to it, because I knew what I was getting into. I've listened to this a ton of times. Now, we talked in the past, I think we did A Real Diamond in the Rough, Buckethead's album back in the day. And that's an instrumental album too, but there's drum loops and there's backing tracks too that Buckethead is like playing against. This one goes before, this one came out way, many years before A Real Diamond in the Rough. but it was kind of, if you listen to Buckethead's Pikes, like we've talked about the Pikes before, but Trey, just so you can kind of get an idea of what these Pikes are,
Yeah, what does that
on
mean?
Buckethead's, so basically what they are, they're like these 30-minute, you would call them EPs, but he calls them Pikes for whatever reason. But they're like these little mini journeys. Every pike is numbered. They're not titled, so it's like Pike 1, and they're like up to 400, I think, or so right now. His catalog is beyond extensive, but when you start diving into these pikes, you'll start to get different vibes of Buckethead. Some of it is completely out there, fast noodling, just effects pedal. I mean, just insane trips and sound. And then you have these more kind of ethereal journeys, and I think that when he started doing these pikes, he started to pull from his back catalog, or his catalog in general, and these kind of tracks that are in Electric Tears really get built upon in the pikes. And this is my favorite style of Buckethead in a sense. The very ethereal, very hypnotic, very haunting, like tonal just sounds that he's just bouncing off your eardrums. And this I'll save where this is at in my kind of Buckethead like just favorite albums, but it is up there. But Vit was super stoked when you picked this, because I knew, I was like, okay, well, this is my type of instrumental, but is it everyone's type of instrumental? Do people even listen to a lot of instrumental music? Not, I kind of bounced this off a couple of friends too, and they obviously had never heard it before, but context is everything, I think, when you're listening to this type of music. I mean,
Yeah.
this, if you're pre-gaming, again, not the right place. If you are, I mean, doing honestly anything really active, like this does not match that vibe. This is way more decompression, way more introspective, way more emotional, healing music for me. But if you go in there with the wrong type of approach, you may get lost in how long some of these songs are, and how kind of, I see it as hypnotic, but some people could say it is dragging out, but I don't see that at all. But it is a true one man instrumental album, which I think is very admirable, and some of the sounds that he's able to produce with his guitar, I had never heard before listening to this album. So excited to kind of dive into it. Again, I think it's an excellent pick. But very curious too. One, when y'all, I'm curious to know how you listen to it, if you listen to it multiple times, and if any of these songs remind you of any other musicians, that resonate with you. I think it's very, it'd be very interesting. But yeah, Trey, what'd you think?
Yeah, and Trey, while you do that, real quick, I'm gonna leave and turn this off and come back because it's driving me insane. As funny as it would have been to have it for the whole episode.
Sorry.
So I'll be right back.
Yeah, not a problem. Well, so the first thing that I want to ask actually involves Blake, but I need to know why he picked this
Okay.
album, this Buckhead album specifically. Um, I got to be honest, it for me, and I'll tell you. Oh, I'll wait till Blake gets back here to kind of
How did
really.
you listen to it?
I kind of want to wait to talk about that till
Oh,
he's here.
okay. Okay.
Um, it for me, like some of it was really cool and like interesting, like you said, like hypnotic. Some of it was like a guy doing sound check with an acoustic guitar. Like some of it, and I'll get into that when I talk about bottom tracks, but it was like what this isn't even really like a song. This is like just kind of noodly soft acoustic guitar with nothing behind it. The lack of any other instrument by the end of the album really started to wear on me. Like there was no bass, there's no drums, there's no type of really stray from this specific guitar tone. So I got pretty bored, to be honest with you. Now, how did I listen to it? I listened to it driving through the mountains of Nevada as the sun was setting, close to the end of my 36-hour trek driving from Alabama to California. So I would say it was kind of an ideal listening time, and I was like really excited to do it. I kind of waited until like that time. I was expecting a lot more out of. I've never really listened to Buckethead, but I know you like him a lot, so like I hold it in high regard. And like I thought it was just a little bit more like proggy, and there was a lot more going on. I assume that every album he has isn't just him with an acoustic guitar and then like some,
No, no.
yeah. So
There's only like three specific albums that are like this.
okay,
One is called Colma, Colma, came out before this one. Then Electric Tears, and then Electric Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And so and there's gaps in between these out. I think Colma's 97, this is 2002, and then I think that was like 2010 or something like that.
Yeah. So like the first half or so of the album, for the most part, it was cool. It was ethereal. It was meditative. And then by the end of it, I was just tired of only listening to an acoustic guitar. That it wore on me. So I didn't like hate it, but didn't like love it either. Blake, why did you pick? This is what I was going to ask right before you left. Why did you pick this album out of all Buckethead albums, which there are like 1,000?
Because I basically like I knew I wanted to do Buckethead, and then I looked at what are the like highly regarded Buckethead albums, and this is one of them.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's why I picked it. I didn't know anything about it, and to like along the same veins, I will say like I was whelmed. I was not underwhelmed or overwhelmed. I was whelmed, and I think they're kind of in the same vein as Trey. Like, I don't know. When I picked Buckethead, like I said, I didn't know anything about it, and I don't know. I guess I didn't expect what this is. I didn't expect the acoustic. I think it's really creative and really cool that there is literally no other instrument in the album. Like I don't think anybody else could do this the way that he did it. Now, to Trey's point, you know, an hour and 10 minutes of it, I'm like, all right, man, like I need something else. But I still think it's really cool what he did with the album and how he did it. I think it's super creative and very individualistic. Like I don't think anybody else could do this. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't like I left the album and I listened to it twice, and I left the album like I not loving it and not hating it, like somewhere in between. Like I don't know. I liked it. You know, then there's definitely some tracks that I really enjoyed and some sounds that are really, really cool. But even like there are certain tracks that I'll get into in a little bit when we go to top tracks that like I really like it and I was super into it. But then if it's a 6-minute song, like 3 minutes into it, I'm like, is this it? Like we're just doing this for 6 minutes, you know? But I still really appreciate the artistic ability of someone to be able to put this together the way that he did. I think it's that part in and of itself is sick.
And I will say, like, after my second listen was just earlier, cooking dinner, and like as I was moving and like actually doing something, it was a lot more enjoyable. So like it also, you know, my boredom could have come from me being like sitting in a car, but the type of soundscapes from this should be, I feel like, I don't know, like it relaxing and meditative and that type of stuff that would be ideal for the environment that I listen to it in. But, you know, maybe it's just too relaxing. Maybe it's too set.
Well, let me say this
too set.
The first time I ever heard this album, along with Electric Sea, I had heard them both for the first time back to back, which is a very interesting experience in itself. But and I don't know if this was, so I'll just pair it together for the sake of storytelling, but I don't know how accurate these experiences are. So I have a flotation tank at my house, and when Kelsey was living with me, I was like, I told her, I said, I'm gonna go in the tank. I'm gonna be in there for a while, just in case you're curious as to why I'm down there for so long, right? And so I got in the tank. I'd set the timer for just 2 hour float, and for whatever reason, my computer went to sleep mode, and because it's all programmed through my PC, and I was in there for a long ass time, and not knowing how long I was in there, I thought I was playing tricks with myself, you know, thinking, oh, surely, you know, it's just my head, time will pass and the lights will come on and everything will be done. And it never happened. So I get out of the tank, and it had been almost 4.5 hours that I was in there.
Jesus.
But when I got out, the sounds that I was hearing was sounds like songs from this album. Like Electric Tears was playing on my computer because I had it downloaded. I just hadn't listened to it yet, but it had shuffled to that point. And in my head, I'm like, what is this music? And just didn't even like rush to go take a shower. I just like sat there and like post float glow melted to this music. So it kind of left a big impression on me at that point. And I think that might be why I gravitate towards like the ethereal side of Buckethead versus the super fast shreddy, but make no have no question about it that he can do it all through a guitar. He's a savant guitar player, and I think that when you have that skill level, it's whatever you want to put out there, whatever emotions are coming through you are going to come out through the instrument, and that to me does make for a very like introspective kind of listen to this album, you know. And I think it's also worth mentioning that like the second track on this album is dedicated to Miles Davis, you know, who's another phenomenal musician who would play purely like instrumental tracks, obviously, you know. And I think that there's a lot of harmony between that type of approach that Miles Davis would take to what he tried to do with this album.
Yeah, 100%. Let's get into top tracks. Also, 4 hours in a float tank is fucking crazy.
Unknowingly is even more crazy because, like, again, at any point you can get out, but you don't want to get out.
Trey, you're
time.
muted, by the way.
It's a head game.
Yeah, that's fucking nuts. All right, let's get into top tracks. Anthony, you lead us off.
All right, so number 3, I have the last track on this album, "Spell of the Gypsies." It's a very we kind of always get to this point of like it's a beautiful way to end the album, but it really is. And this might be like the brightest track to me on the album. It's very there's like a very ethnic kind of flamenco guitar playing. I do think, I don't want to misquote this, but I do think Buckethead has like Spanish influence. Like I think his father is Spanish. I think it's on Pike. If you look up Pike 13, it's the only Pike that has a picture of anything on it that's not a Buckethead drawing. He also draws all his cover artwork. He's insane. But he has a photo of him with his father, and I think he pretty much looks Spanish. But his guitar playing is very Spanish in this, and it's beautiful. So Spell of the Gypsies takes number 3 for me. My number 2 top track is Mustang, purely for like the sounds of this song. Like this song I wrote just like straight rubber, like the way that the sounds are just bouncing and very just vibrant and moving and very just like the balance between that sound and the delicate tonal work that he does in the background to me is beautiful. And there's a lot of rhythm changes in that song too, where it starts off like very heavy and then it kind of builds and then it kind of slows down. Very delicate ending for that song. So Mustang number 2. My favorite song on this album, and it's because of the emotional journey that it is for me, is Baptism of Solitude. I mean, it's 6 minutes, so I mean it's up there in length, but like this song just goes, and for me it's the most transportive song personally. So Baptism of Solitude, my favorite one.
Nice. Trey, what do you got?
Sorry, there's dogs barking, so that's why I've been muted.
Y'all and your dogs, you should get a trainer.
Yeah,
True.
I should just go beat them. Actually, let me tell you.
Not even put that out there.
Before I hop into this, Wafer was the best dog on that road trip. I mean, he just champed it out, except for when we started getting until we started getting in the mountains, and he saw the mountains and he got nervous. He was like so nervous, like panting and like looking back and forth from the window because he'd never seen anything that tall before. And he was just like,
damn.
Yeah, it was actually really
dead.
Like,
how long are you going to be there?
Probably through the fall. I'm going to come to Denver for that month in July, but I'm going to come back out here through the fall.
Yeah.
I want to hit a snowboard season out here.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right, sorry. So top tracks. I have Pad Mansa as my number 1 top track. I don't know why I started at 1, but I like that one. When you say Spanish influence, like I definitely felt that throughout. This kind of has like, because there's like 2 guitars going at the same time, you know, like as he did with like kind of a rhythm obviously in a lead. And it felt like the rhythm was very Spanish influence. So I really enjoyed that one. Datura I liked a lot as well. Because this is more what I was expecting from like a Buckethead tone, that like the kind of the a little bit more like, I don't know what's the right word, like filtered, like grimy guitar sound that he has here.
It's alien effects, right?
Yeah. And then I actually also have Baptism of Solitude on my top 3. Because I really like the title of the song, and some of these are kind of hard to differentiate, but this sounds like a yoga, like coming down at the end of like a, you know, yoga session type of track. And also I was in a car alone, and I was like, oh, this is me. I'm baptizing myself in solitude right now. So yeah, that was it.
I just realized how much that song is just like floating in a float tank too.
Well,
it's
all of them are probably like
legitimate.
floating a float tank for you. You're in there for
True.
4.5 hours.
Right.
Sure, you listen to that. You can listen to the album 4 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 3 for me, I had Sketches of Spain. And I wrote Zelda vibes. I'm getting Zelda vibes from this. Kind of like how Trey
like
gets
that.
Trey gets Derek vibes from a lot of things. I get Zelda vibes. And that was kind of what I was picking up here, like Ocarina of Time life, man. Back in the day. This
Hell
would be
yeah.
such a great. And there are some games where like I turn off the sound for them and just listen to music, and this is like the perfect song for that type of environment. So yeah, I really, really like that song. I think it's great. I think it's beautiful. And again, there's a nice mix of like the acoustic picking here and then a little bit of an electric guitar wailing towards the end. You know, I wouldn't call it a solo per se, but you know, a rhythm that he has there, that I really liked. And then, I don't have, you guys didn't have any of my top 3, which kind of worries me a little bit. My next one is The Way to Heaven. This was, first off, I love the title. And second, this is like how Trey would, you know, had an idea going in and he found a song that was like, oh, this is what I expected it to be. This is kind of what I expected a Buckethead album to be, is The Way to Heaven. Now it's slow, but it's primarily electronic, and he does some weird distortion about halfway through that I think is really, really cool. And just like I said, like this is a great showcase of someone who can create an album like this, right, with just guitar sounds. And this is one of the tracks where like you don't ever, to me at least, I never felt bored. I never felt like I wanted to get to the next song. Like I just wanted it to keep going. So really, really like that song. And then number 1 for me is Kansas Storm. Kansas Storm is like there's just a weird energy with Kansas Storm. It feels like you're watching a storm approaching. It's been really stormy in Denver too, so it was like perfect timing to hear this. But like, there's so many moments where these past few weeks where I can see this massive storm rolling in, and this is like the perfect song for it. It was really funny. Like we went to the dog park with Riley, Ruby, and 3 of their babies. And we all went together to the park, and then a bunch of people ended up showing up. And so there was a bunch of dogs there and everybody was loving them. And at one point, Riley was acting like a shithead. So like I drove him home and I was coming back and there was a fucking massive storm coming. Like I could see it in the background, and I texted Amanda. I was like, yo, you got to get out of there. And so I drove and picked her up. But like I was listening to Buckethead when I was taking him back and forth. And I listened to Kansas Storm shortly after, and I was like, that's the perfect vibe for this. So really, really love that song. And also, yeah, Anthony, I need tips on how to train Riley to act appropriately around other animals. So we'll talk about that at another time.
Step into my office after.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Well, so before I get into bottoms, I'm very pleased. Like when you first picked this album, Blake, I was like, okay, I think there's going to be a big, expectation shift as far as what we're getting into. Because this wouldn't have been the next Buckethead album I would have brought, because it is so, it's deeper, it is so more thought provoking. But from y'all's top picks, we have we're across the board different ones. So, that I think does say a lot again for this album.
True.
Yeah. And just from Buckethead's technical ability, so as far as my bottom tracks, I was struggling with this, so I'm like, okay, well, I have to find reasons as to why these tracks are in there. So I like all the tracks on this album, just to put it on the record if it wasn't already. But so starting with my number 3, I have Witches of the Heath as one of my bottom tracks, really because I love the sound. It's just the shortest track on the album. And
such a cop out.
Is it? I was surprised, and Blake may do this, but I would be surprised if I love Padmasana too, but that's super long. But I could see how that one, people could want that to be shorter. But Witches of the Heath, really like that. Datura, I only put this on there because it is the only track that has those kind of I just like foreign alien like effects, that Buckethead loves to do that. Like, if you ever get a chance to go see him play, I can't recommend it. Have either one of y'all got to see him yet?
Nope.
Not yet. Well, he's touring this summer, and I'll keep y'all in the loop when it comes around. But when you go see him perform, that is a full showcase of what he can do. Because there are snippets of this, there are snippets of him doing nunchucks on stage, giving out presents, doing the robot while he's playing guitar. I mean, the guy is just an enigma. He defines the word. But he does use a lot of like effects and like looping pedals and of just like these types of really brash sounds. And it's not as dramatic in Datura, but it is a taste of that kind of music. But for me, it just doesn't fit in this whole piece. Just that effect. So again, kind of nitpicking here. And I had Kansas Storm on here really for that reason. It's a bluesy track, but the only kind of bluesy track on here. So Kansas Storm sticks out amongst the album. I don't think it's a great track, but I think it is kind of like a one-off of the whole piece, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's fair. Before we get into Trey's bottom picks, speaking of touring, did you see Lil Wayne's going on tour this summer?
Yes,
he's
sir.
Going to Birmingham. He's going to Birmingham.
He's going to the Orion.
He's playing the Coke. Oh wait, that's right. Fish is going to Birmingham. And they're playing the Coke.
Yeah, right.
You know, he not only skipped Denver, but also skipped Louisiana entirely. So that's very strange. I don't know why he would do that, but
I bet he'll announce.
How many more days?
Both of those places.
3 more days.
Yeah, maybe. True.
Does Carter 6 come out this weekend?
No, 3 days. Comes out June 6th.
June 6th.
Sick. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Strap up.
Trey, what do you got?
All right, my bottom 3. So my first one is Spell of the Gypsies. And the sole reason is by the time I got here, man, I was just so done with this sound. Like I said, no, it's not necessarily...
That's not a cop-out?
It's just as much of a cop-out, so I will take mine back.
Okay, deal.
But, sorry, that's wafer, I think.
That's okay.
So that's bottom 3. Then Witches on the Heath. It's just kind of like, I mean, a lot of it's kind of meandering, but it's just particularly meandering. There's just like not really much going on. Like for the most part, there's not even like a layered guitar on here. It's just the one. And then
it's a sound check. It's the sound check for the album.
It's funny that you say that because my number one song, Anthony, I'm sorry, this one was in your top. My number one dislike song is Mustang for that exact reason. It sounds like a sound check to me. It sounds like Trey Anastasio is like sound checking like a very specific pedal for the entire.
Yeah, let me hear how this sounds.
Yeah, it's just like not even there's like not even rhythm to like half of it. It's just like.
That's the rhythm. That's the rhythm. I mean, if somebody's doing this at a sound check, I'm sticking around, I think.
I'm not saying it's a bad sound check. I'm just saying it's a sound check.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not for me. And this was also the first song that I like didn't enjoy on the album. So like the first 3, I was like, oh, this is great. And this one I was like, not a big fan. So that kind of left an impression, I think, for the rest of the record.
That's fair. We got fucking dogs barking everywhere, man. I got dogs downstairs.
Let the record show it's not coming from my house.
Yeah, fair.
I'm very proud of this.
Okay, so for me, I had All in the Waiting in the bottom because like this, like it just really, it is kind of a cop out, but man, it threw me off. I was like, this is not what I expected for a Buckethead album, man. Like, what's going on here? Is this going to be the whole album? Like, thought we were going to be jamming, and we're not really jamming here. We're kind of getting ready to go to bed. So that was on there, and then Anthony called it Pad Mazzana.
I knew this was coming.
Wrap it up, man. Like, wrap it the fuck up. 11 minutes and 30 seconds of, like, relatively the same. Like, it's too much, dude. It's too much for me.
Just know, Blake, that in some of these pikes, like, if let's just say there's a 3-track pike, and they're all around 30 minutes long. You may get a 2-minute track, then you may get a 4-minute track. Then you got a 24-minute long closer. Which, I mean, I wrote in here, this is Buckethead long form. Before there was true long form, which is like 20+ minute journeys into sound. So it's an acquired taste, but we're getting there. And
then last hate to do it, but same as Trey, I had to put Mustang on there. Like,
oh wow,
what are we doing? Like, are we gonna get to the point here? Is there gonna be a point? Like, what? It's like he was getting ready to go into a song, and then he was like, let's just call it. I think that's good. I think we'll go home for the day. You're muted, Trey.
It's like he was deciding like the sound that he wanted to put on like the next song, and it's like him just like playing with his guitar beforehand.
Yeah, he's like, all right, wrap it up. That works actually. So that's what I had. But all in all, I will say, like, even the songs I don't like, you still have to appreciate the uniqueness of the sound 100%. You can't take that away from him. So, but let's get into rating. So, Anthony, I think we can all predict your rating, but go ahead and hit us with it.
Well, it's not a 10, only because there are, like I said, as far as, so if you were to rank Colma, Electric Tears, and Electric Sea, for me, it is Electric Tears is at the bottom, is the third, then it's Colma, then it's Electric Sea. So there's more goodness, I think, in this vein of instrumental studio work from Buckethead. But this album is also ranked on I think it's the top 25 instrumental albums of all time, at number 12, I believe. So it does have some notoriety amongst music heads, which makes me very happy, because Buckethead, I never get to have these conversations about him versus just telling people go listen to him. But for me, I give this an 8.5.
All right.
I think it's early on in his studio work, but it definitely is a solid album.
Very nice. Trey?
I think a fun drinking game for this podcast would be every time your dog barks, you have to take a sip of your beer.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah. Holy fuck. I would be wasted by the end of the fucking episode. I wouldn't be able to record.
I'm going to give it a 5.5. I'm inspired by your 0.5. I was going to give it a 6, but since you threw that 0.5 in there.
So you went down one? Okay.
I was like, oh yeah, that's an option. I liked it. I didn't love it, and I think that it has me intrigued to listen to more Buckethead, but not Buckethead that's in this space, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
For me, it would be like, the Trey Anastasio solo show that we went to. It'd be like taking someone who's never heard Fish and putting them in that environment and being like, this is what Fish is. But like, that's not really what Fish is. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like
But it is kind of like a showcase of that individual.
Yeah, but that would be a great first impression. Yeah. I don't know.
That was kind of my experience, I guess, with Trey Anastasio, listening to Gamehenge. And then not really getting into Fish at all, but really loving that solo show. So
yeah,
interesting.
You put a guy on stage, you never know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Some will love it, some not.
I'm also going to take the 0.5 route, and I'm going to go 6.5. I think that's because same thing. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. Thought there was some cool moments. And to be completely honest, I think it will grow on me. I think the more I listen to it, it will most likely grow on me. And trying it in different spaces, things like that. Maybe in the sauna, right? Sitting in the steam room or in the sauna, listening to that. I think that would be great. But
it was great for cooking. It was great cooking music. I do have to say that.
Nice.
So
it is also good reading background music. I mean, if you don't want to give it active listening, it still, I think, works in ways where you're not truly paying attention to it, but you're like, this is a vibe, and I think it's a nice vibe to hang in. But when I bring Buckethead back, I'm gonna try to stay out of this lane and try to bring you some more like dynamic Buckethead, because I wouldn't consider this dynamic Buckethead, but the guy can do it all.
Nice. All right, Electric Tears by Buckethead. Go give it a listen. Let us know what you think. And now let's get into Rides or Dies. And Anthony, you lead us off.
I will go. So last
shocking pick, by the way.
I can't even remember what was it? Oh yeah, last week Trey. Well, we were talking because Trey brought that Morgan Wallen track, and I was like, I name dropped Kenny Chesney.
No, I brought it. Trey did.
No. Let's make sure that's understood. Yeah.
Oh, did I say Trey? I meant Blake. Blake brought Morgan Wallen to the podcast. But I mentioned if Kenny Chesney did a reunion concert now, it would sell out, and y'all said, well, maybe that's not the right name to drop. So I brought you a 20-year-old track from Kenny Chesney that I think still does what it should do, which is capture the essence of Southern summertime it gives you chills when you're listening to it, and the
All
sole
right,
reason why I
chills
committed
a little crazy.
Listen to it in the right context. Right? Well, this is what gave me chills was I was driving down the interstate trying to figure out which Kenny Chesney song to bring, and had this one playing, and I take a look out of my left window and I see two feet touching the glass from the car next to me. So 2 bare feet on the dashboard says "Go with Summertime," Kenny Chesney, 2005. Did it bring you back or what? Blake.
Man, okay, Blake.
Or Trey. Go ahead, Trey.
No, Trey,
right.
you got it.
Here's the deal, man. You know what this brings me back to? Is Gobbler's Knob. This
Yes,
song probably
dude.
played 1,000 times on that radio
Yes.
system. And so for a little side story, if we don't mind going down memory lane for a second,
Yeah.
my dad actually gave Gobbler's Knob the sound system that they had, and he like donated them like the head unit and all this stuff. And so when I was like 14, because I went to that pool like 3-4 days a week. And so when I was like 14, I was like, hey, let me like plug in my phone and play music. And they wouldn't let me do it. And then I became
Trey played Jay-Z and everybody got pissed.
Then I became a lifeguard, and I was like, I'm plugging in my phone, I'm playing music, and I like was able to take over and not play songs like "Summertime" by Kenny Chesney. But when it was on 104.7 The Bull or whatever that station is called, the song's in heavy rotation. The song's a hard ride. It's great. Like, it's a sip of wine. It's a summertime. Like that stays in your head, man. It's just it's a great description of just chilling in the summer. You know, being a good old boy.
Very true. Yeah, I will say, I mean, definitely took me back. Definitely reminded me of Gobbler's Knob and Helena and FM radio. Man, what a weird time in life that was. But yeah, I mean, good country song, hard rides. It's still Morgan Wallen, but it's still pretty good. So I will have to give it a ride. And I don't know if I would go to a Kenny Chesney concert, but maybe if he was playing at like a NASCAR event I was going to, I would tune in. But yeah,
I don't know where he's playing right now.
Where?
He's playing the Sphere in Las Vegas, brother.
Oh my God, is he really?
Yes. Yeah, I thought about.
Is that real?
I considered going through Vegas so I would go see Kenny Chesney at the Sphere show. So I was like, that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Okay, so hold on.
He came after Dead and company.
This is insane. I had no idea. Honestly, I didn't look it up or even give an extra thought about it.
I wonder if there's videos.
The fact that he's playing at the Sphere is insane.
Yeah, he has a residency.
He's doing a whole
That's
residency. Holy fuck.
Yeah, he's there for like he's there for all summer. I guarantee he's playing summertime.
So okay, Blake. Now let me ask you this. So Morgan Wallen gets booked at the Sphere. How many nights, if any, is he actually going to follow through and play?
I don't know. Does he have a history of not doing that? Is that a thing?
Well,
are you saying like how many would they book him for?
Would even buy how many would book him for? And how many tickets?
I know we brought this up when we last recorded, but the guy is ridiculously huge. Like he would sell that shit out 100%. Like it's kind of crazy how much people love him. I'll be honest, but yeah, and I'd be there. I'd be there front row, baby. I'd be riding rail.
Kenny Chesney at the Sphere looks sick. Y'all should look up his
I
videos.
just looked up videos.
That looks awesome.
Damn it, dude. Fucking, we missed out, dude. Fuck the dead. We should have gone it. We should have done it. Dude, please, can we please do a totally biased music field trip together and we'll all go to a Kenny Chesney concert and we'll come back and talk about our experience.
Think about this crowd, okay? Because you know this crowd, average age is probably 47.
Yeah.
Maybe 50.
I'll say I'd go a little north of that.
Cougars up in there.
Yeah.
How much is a beer at the Sphere?
That's like $15. It's nothing crazy.
Yeah, it's like a normal concert amount. Okay, Trey, what do you got? What did you bring us?
I brought Carini. It's a 1990s.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, what I brought Crossroads. I thought about bringing Carini. Well, I did it without having to look at my phone, so that should be impressive.
True.
From a 97 show. I don't remember the show off the top of my head. If you have
I think it was New Year's Eve, maybe.
No, it's one that starts with an S. But dude, this is just an absolute ripping Carini, where Trey and
Crossroads again.
Thank you. Sorry. Don't use that tone with me. It's an absolute ripping cover of Crossroads. Trey just goes full machine gun Trey mode, and just spits on this beat. You know what I mean? In a way that only Trey Anastasio can do.
Yeah.
So,
the Spectrum 97. The Spectrum 1997.
Thank you. I knew it started with an S. So yeah, what y'all think?
Yeah, I mean, for that reason, it's a hard ride because Trey is shredding his fucking ass off in this song, man. Like, God,
it's
so
unreal.
like actual. I don't like when people use this term too loosely because they pisses me off. But actual face melting, 100%. Like that. Yeah, I mean, imagine seeing this in 1997, right? You're off like several $12 beers, which was expensive back then, and maybe a little bit of the cannabis, a little bit of the Mary Jane, and then Trey just launches into this. I would probably shit myself. So hard rides.
It's crazy how hard his like the solo's going, and then he just pops right back into the like I went down to the cross, like just so so casual. It's sick.
It's sick. Anthony.
So I gave this one a rides. I don't know how I feel about live songs being as a ride or die. I think just because there's so much context that's missing.
Does kind of feel like a cop out a little bit.
No, what?
Is that like our word of the day?
Picking a live song?
No, yeah, picking a live song feels like a cop out, and yeah, that is the word of the pod today.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because like if you pick a live song, like if you pick a live Dead song, there's so much building up to it, and there's so much after it, right? But like this song, all the context is wrapped up because it's the last song of the set, so like it is everything on the table, just letting people out with a bang. So it definitely rides. Who is this a cover of?
It's a Clapton
Do you
song.
know?
Yeah, it's a Clapton.
Gotcha.
John Mayer has a really cover of this too on Battle Studies.
Yeah, he does. Sick. All right, so I have a song and I have a game I want to play. So my song is Pink Like Suki by Pebbles and Tam Tam. Now I'm going to give you each one guess as to where I heard this song. Trey, you can go first.
I know Amanda didn't show it to you because it's good.
I'll let her know you said that.
That's just a comeback for the Little Lights thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you hear it in a live setting? No. At the gym, maybe? I'm gonna go with the gym. Final answer.
All right, Anthony, what do you think?
I'm gonna say like either a family member or a friend who's young showed your either TikTok or something like that.
So I heard it, and this is a callback to several episodes ago. I heard it in a video game soundtrack, and it is the first song I heard when I loaded up the brand new F1 25 game that I've been playing all fucking weekend on my setup, which you can see, by the way, back here. There's my chair. Yeah, my steering wheel and everything. Well, you can see the chair. You can't see the steering wheel.
You're playing it like with a steering wheel and a pedal?
Yeah, steering wheel and pedals. But yeah, it's one of the songs. The whole F1 soundtrack, it's all music like this, and it fits perfectly. And now, like, knowing that context, this is like the perfect song for an F1 game, like talking about Suzuki and racing and all this other shit. But yeah, just a bop, absolute bop and banger for me. So Trey, what did you think? You said it was good.
I loved the song. I thought it was excellent. Yeah.
Nice.
Honestly, it sounds like something like Skrillex could produce. Pharrell Williams is a producer on this, or a writer.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like, this is too good. Like someone big has to be behind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is excellent pick. The beat.
Fuck yeah.
The beat is hard.
Oh, it's so hard, so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Perfect cardio music.
Yeah. So it gets a ride for me for sure.
Nice, Anthony.
So when I first heard this song, I thought I had heard it before. I'm like, where have I heard this song? So I was like searching like Pink Little like Suki, what movie is it from? And the results came in saying it's not from a movie, but the song is about Suki, who's a character from Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yep.
So that vibe in itself, plus you talking about that you're playing a racing game, is where you heard this. I will give it a rides for that fact.
Shocking.
I don't love this song. I don't love the listening to it for the entire length of the song. But if this is one of those menu soundtrack songs, like if you're just playing in the menu selecting your course and that's all I have to hear is the 30 seconds or whatever.
Yeah.
Fine. I'll give it a
That's
rides.
what it is. That's exactly what it is, too.
Okay, perfect.
Nice. All right, that's rides across the board, guys.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'm in a minute.
Very nice. Okay, so now we're getting into Friendship, which was Trey's movie pick. You guys saw it together. Trey, why'd you pick the movie? What'd you think? What were your thoughts?
So before we get into the movie, have to give a little background for I Think You Should Leave is a series on Netflix. and they have 3 seasons. And it is one of my favorite comedy shows. It is very unique. I don't consider it cringe comedy. I consider it like absurdist humor. I think Tim Robinson is an absolute genius that like just exploits like these weird little, situations that people find themselves in, almost like a Curb Your Enthusiasm, but like in a skit format. And it's funnier in my opinion. But so Tim Robinson has this really unique brand of humor, and so when Friendship got announced, it was kind of like, okay, like how's he going to do this in a film setting? I think this is his first full-length feature film. I thought the movie was absolutely hilarious. I thought having Paul Rudd, like, it's almost like a callback to what is it? I Love You Man is the movie where he's trying to find the best man. So like he kind of plays that role really well. The bit about how his wife's cheating on him the whole time with her former ex-boyfriend, and he's like just like ignores it. Like anytime she says she's gonna go hang out with him is hilarious. The scene where he licks the toad and he just goes to a Subway and orders a Subway sandwich is an absolute riot. Our theater, I feel like, was laughing pretty hard with it. Like there wasn't like a ton of people in there, but there was enough. And we went with Chad and his wife. And Chad and his wife also really like I Think You Should Leave, and like they were geeking out, and a lot of out loud laughter. So a lot of really funny moments. But Anthony, I'll let you go, and then Blake, I'm very curious to hear how you felt about it.
All right.
I think during our watching experience, like the first maybe 10 minutes of the movie, we were laughing hard. Like our little row was cracking up out loud. And I think that was the time where the rest of the theater kind of got this comedy, because it is very like out there comedically, because some of the shit you're laughing at is not like very in your face. It's not like very subtle.
Yeah.
No, it's like the way that, he is just like going about doing things. It's just fucking hilarious. So I had a great time with this movie. I watched through the I Think You Should Leave recently, but I would love to see what comes next out of this, because I think this was like a kind of like a test the waters to see if it can work in a long form, and it does. But it also, there are scenes in this movie that feel like skits in that show. Like it very much feels like you could have seen this played out in short form, but I like how it's built upon. I like the turns that it takes. And God, when he was staring at the what was the car? Is it a yellow Corvette? Yeah. So when he was staring at the yellow Corvette, I was in my head, I was like, go, just fucking floor it, and then he does floor it, and then he fucking wrecks it, and I'm just like, oh God, just you got me right where you had me right where you wanted, and then you took a turn. It was just, I love a comedy. So I had a fucking great time watching this movie.
There we go.
I hated it, man. I really did. Like, I hate this humor. I did not. There's 2 moments that I found really funny, and one of them is like 3 seconds long. But when they're in the park and he starts sinking into the mud while he's talking, made me laugh really hard. And the fucking Subway sandwich scene is so funny, because the guy's like, how long, T-Man is like, how long are you there? Like 4 or 5 months? He was like, it's like 5 minutes. I ordered a fucking sandwich. And he goes, that fucking toad rips me off. Like, that scene was really funny, but everything else, man, like, to me, it's not absurdist humor. It is cringe comedy, and it's too cringe for me. Like, dude, the soap in the mouth scene, like, is just, that shit is not funny to me. Like,
to completion. It's going for.
It's just like, oh my God. I was like, dude, like, in a whole movie of this, like, now I'm definitely not watching I Think You Should Leave. I'll tell you that much. But like, here's the thing. The silver lining is Amanda somehow found it funny, and like, she didn't fall asleep during the movie, which she normally does with movies she doesn't like. So like, she liked it more than I did, but like, I don't know, man. It's just not my type of humor. I think Paul Rudd is great in it. And I also I think there is a deeper meaning to the Subway sandwich, since Paul Rudd was the one making it. Maybe there's something there that we haven't unpacked yet.
Yeah, that could be true. That could be true.
But
I think it's just, that's how obsessed with Paul Rudd that he was. That he was the one that he saw and and had like a fantasy almost of him like serving him in a way.
Well, and I will say what was also kind of funny was the bit in the jail cell when his hair fell off and then he was going to put it back on and he can't look him in the eye and he's like, is it good? He's like, yeah. And he's like, what is it? I don't. And he's like, yeah. And he won't fucking look at him. But like,
did you think it was funny when he was like, when he doubled back on that bit, you know, where, you know, his friends are all like, they're at his house and his hair, I forget exactly.
Yeah, his hair falls off again when he shoots the gun. Stalling. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like it was fine. Like it was worth. Here's the thing: I saw it on a Tuesday, so it was only $7. So it was worth the $7. I will say, and the Subway sandwich moment kind of made it worth it. I think that bit was really funny. But yeah, I don't know, just not my thing. You know, not my type of humor.
I think if you watch, I think you should leave. I think that you would enjoy it. Because I think
is it going to make me uncomfortable like this movie made me?
For the most part, no. Some skits do, but for the most part, it doesn't. And then I think you would enjoy this because I walked out of the movie and I was like, if people haven't seen I Think You Should Leave, they're not going to enjoy this. Like, because it just kind of like a curve to it. Yeah, like you have to understand. Like, I'm not saying like you didn't like it because you didn't understand it, but like the way that Tim Robinson is and like his physical humor and stuff, like it all makes sense a little bit more.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll send you like a couple top episodes to check out. The thing is, they're like maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Bits. If you find bits, Trey, that are digestible, I think
the first time that I saw I Think You Should Leave, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is terrible. Why are y'all laughing at it? Because we watched it in Puerto Rico when season 2 came out. I was like with a bunch of friends that were really into it. And I was like, this is so dumb. And then like one skit got me and then another skit got me. And I was like, nah, I get it. This is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. So I will say one of the like underrated funny moments, which nobody else laughed at, that I thought was really funny, was when he drops his shoe and Paul Rudd's like, "Oh, just leave it. We'll get it on the way back." I'm like, why? Why would you fucking leave the shoe? Like,
right. Or like you can't climb up the wall. Like he just runs and jumps on top of it.
Blake, I got a question. Do you know who Nathan Fielder is?
Yeah,
he's a comic now. Have you seen his
work
at all?
I haven't. I've heard it's really good. I
haven't seen the new one. I haven't seen. I've seen Nathan For You.
Nathan For You is cringe, but it's written in a way that I think is pretty intelligent. But his newest show, The Rehearsal, or his newest season of The Rehearsal, basically you gotta watch the first season to I think understand what the second season is gonna be. But you haven't heard about him in kind of like Flight Talk circles?
No, I have. Like I saw the skit where he flew the plane.
Yeah. So it's really interesting, you know, and the way that he makes it comedic is kind of in the same lane as Tim Robinson, where like these guys, they're not traditional comics by any means, and they're not like each other, but they're both so different. And I think it can translate once you kind of understand what they're going for. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that show.
Yeah, I would definitely give it a shot. I've heard really good things about it. But yeah, so that was where I was at. I will say, I know this isn't in our list, but Ballerina comes out this weekend, the John Wick movie with Ana de Armas, who is my queen and my god and my goat. So I'm definitely going to go see that because I'm obsessed with her. I don't particularly love John Wick, but I love her. So I will be seated. Oh, that's
right. You hate John Wick.
I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think
we could do like a current events type episode and do Carter 6 and Ballerina if we wanted to do that.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Weeks. It'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool for sure. Okay, so today we have
really quick before we jump into that, I have one small Trey's terrible Twitter takes while you're pulling up the wheel.
Okay.
Because Blake has been sending me the Hard Times Instagram posts pretty often recently, and I found one today and I was going to send it to you, and I was like, I'm going to hold on to it. All right, so this one is a pic. It says John Frusciante flee. Fine, with Anthony Kiedis naming harmonious, beautifully intricate song Clap-a-dap Funk Suckin' Mama. And then the caption says, to the untrained plebeian, lyrics like suckin' on mine in a 69 or even ding dang dang dong dong dang might seem like the ravings of a drooling poon-crazed lunatic, but there's actually a much deeper meaning to it all.
So good. Fuck, I love those bits, man. I love those bits. Yes.
So, go ahead, pull up Wheel of Time.
Well, hold on. So just because you brought it up, and I think it does make sense with our podcast too, but the first episode of the most recent season of Love, Death, and Robots is a short film directed by David Fincher which features the Red Hot Chili Peppers as marionette puppets. Fucking
nice.
Very
I'll check that
interesting. It's
out.
only like 4 minutes. It's like a music video pretty much. So it's like a live performance of Can't Stop. But very interesting if you can get past puppetry. But like, I fucking love it. So it's worth
Hell
watching.
yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so
All right,
Wheel of
Wheel.
Fate and Time. Anthony, are you album pick? No,
I am
No,
not.
you're a
I'm
movie
album.
pick. Trey's album pick.
I'm
Okay.
album pick. I would like to make a request, and I don't do this lightly because I understand I don't want to mess with fate or time, but I have 3 really good albums, and I'm excited about all 3 of them, and I don't have a great one for 2020's pop. So I would love if we respin if it lands on 2020's pop.
Ooh.
I don't know about
I
that.
mean, I have one for 2020's pop, but like it's
I had a thought. Like, I would support
like
in the
that detail.
future if we add a 5th slot of
Respin?
Spinner's Choice.
Spinner's
So I
Choice.
guess it could be like,
I
you know,
like
like if
Spinner's
there's
Choice.
something
Okay.
that might kind of soothe out all the.
But let's just.
Curveball
But it
Well,
has to
throw
be.
each
But it
other.
has to be one of these categories for
Yes,
Spinner's
yes.
Choice.
Has to be Spinner's
Okay,
Choice.
okay.
Has to be in the categories.
All right, we'll throw it in. But it's
Okay.
but you have to pick between 90s, 2000s, 2000 if
Yeah.
it lands on it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so categories: 90s hip hop, 2000s rock, 2010s country, 2020s pop, and Spinner's Choice. Trey, hit us with the theme song.
The wheel of fate and time, wheel of fate and time, wheel of fate and time. Yes.
All right, 2000s rock.
2000s rock. We're gonna do Echoes, Silence, Patience, and Grace by the Foo
Oh.
Fighters.
Okay.
Who is that by? The Foo Fighters.
The Foo Fighters. It is my favorite Foo Fighters album. I feel like we haven't done Foo Fighters often, and honestly, the Foo Fighters remind me of Summertime a lot for whatever reason. I think it's because when we saw them in 2011 at Hangout, like I think that just like lodged its way into my brain. So yeah, Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace.
All right, sweet. Anthony, Spinner's Choice. Okay,
All
so
right.
Anthony's got movies. The categories: previous Best Picture winner, Ryan Gosling movie, Jessica Chastain movie, or Michael Bay movie. Are we ready?
Specific
Right.
categories with
I
here.
know.
Let's get it. Yeah. He's
Trey-
trying to box me in, but like, I got this.
Trey,
All
hit
right.
us with it.
Wheel of fate and time, fate and time, wheel of fate and time.
Oh,
there you
Spinner's
go.
Choice.
Getting awarded immediately for your idea.
Okay, so now that I have so many choices, it's kind of difficult. But so let's go with Ryan Gosling,
Okay.
and we're gonna go with a movie called. I'm gonna throw you a bone, Blake, and you may not even know that this is a bone, but. What did you refer to her as? Ana de Armas. How did you
My
refer to
queen,
her?
my god, my
Your
goat,
queen?
my bae.
All right, well, let's watch a movie called The Gray Man, featuring Ryan Gosling and Ana de Armas.
All right, I can get with this. I can get
Okay.
with this.
Alright.
It's on Netflix, right?
It used to be, so it probably is still. Michael Bay and Netflix, I think, have. Or no, that's not Michael Bay. I
No,
don't
Ryan
know.
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
but
I think
the
it is on.
director.
I think it is on Netflix though.
Yeah.
All right, The Gray Man, got it. So
Cool.
we got Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace by the Foo Fighters and Gray Man. Cool. Well,
Echo, Silence,
alright.
Patience, and Gray Man.
yeah.
Before we
nice.
wrap, I got some
Yeah.
news to drop on you guys. So, do y'all know what's happening next weekend?
I do not.
So
Bonnaroo?
next weekend is Bonnaroo, and I'm going for Friday the 13th to catch
Let's
Tipper
go.
and Slightly Stupid and King Giz and Of the Tree.
Nice.
So,
Sick.
yep. So decided to go last minute. So
Awesome.
I'll report back.
Yeah, we need a full recap. 100%.
Yeah, we need to know what we gotta tell us what the Infinity Stage is like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I had to do. I
true.
do have to check that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, check
Okay.
it out. Hell yeah.
All right, guys. 'Twas a
Here
blast. We'll see you guys soon. Everybody else, we'll see you guys when we see you, and enjoy.
Goes